Hello, 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 everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? Hello, everybody. Welcome in the den. I am Mama Kuga, aka Kitty Lane, that baby boomer from the peninsula in Virginia. Welcome in the den in the house of Create and Relate. I'm so happy to see you all. We have a lot going on in our community, apparently. So you might see me looking out the window a little more than usual. Always got to keep an eye on my surroundings. Hello, sis. How are you? Hello, Vicky. How are you? I'm so happy to see both of you. Whew. Okay. So, today, of course, is Show Off Saturday. And for once, I can say that I am super happy that I actually have things to show off. One moment, please. Pete, I just need that blanket. Thank you. Sometimes I feel like that's the only name you know in this house. I'm sorry. I thought she was still eating. What did you call her? I called Pete. I thought she was still eating. I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so as I said, I'm super excited because I actually have things to show that are completed. Well, if I take all the stitch markers out, at least you know I use them. Okay, so for breakfast, I can tell you my first three meals of the day will be less than 1,000 calories. I'm jumping straight to the H today because I am excited. When I first started, when we first documented the first weight to the insurance company, I went in at 349. The doctor's visit after that, when I lost the 4 pounds, of course, I was down to 345. When I went back week before last, I was up to 346. Well, we got the scales calibrated and everything. I did my weight this morning. I am down to 344. So I have lost 2 more pounds. And that makes it a total of 5 pounds down. So, yay, me, go me. My mood, of course, is up there. I have no doubt that it's going to be better in a little less than an hour because you all always bring out the best in me. And I appreciate you for that. Um, okay, so for breakfast, I had the most calories. Um, I had a 1 pack of the chicken flavored ramen noodles, and of course, I made mine with 10 ounces of water instead of eight, so that kind of breaks the packaging down. Um, oh yeah, and my coffee, 8 ounces of Folgers Black Silk, and only 4 ounces of caramel macchiato. Oh, and it's not iced. My first snack will be my grapes. I know there are very few calories. I got like a handful and a half of grapes. And then my next snack or lunch for me will be pretzels and a half can of potted meat. And then the meal after that will be the small bag of served chips with the other half of the can of potted meat. So all of that together is like, I think it came up to 963 calories. So it's less than 1,000 calories in 4 meals. So, and each one is filling. So that's great. My overall assessment for the healthometer is probably at a 9.5. And the only reason I'm putting it there is because for the past few days, I have been getting around with two kings. So that's how I'm walking. But we're getting there, and that's what counts. Um, C, I told you about the coffee. D, my drink. I have a bottle and a half of water. It's my half bottle. The bottle is blocking up my camera. And then we have quickly approached the E section of our day. And for sign language purposes, we went through A, all aboard, B, breakfast, C, coffee, D, drink, E. If you will, drop me an egg in the comments, whether you're watching it live or if you're catching it on replay. Please just drop me an egg, EGG, EGG. And yeah, okay. F. On to our finished objects. You saw me folding this one. There's only one thing left to do on this one. Well, two things. Aside for checking for more stitch markers. And that's to weave in this very last end. I could snip it because it's the tight tie, but I'll weave it in just for surety. But this is the one that's for Caleb, the brother. Oh, I did find another marker. Okay. Just need to check the inside too. And this is a Kitty Lane pattern. Nobody else's. There's one being made for his sister. And this is the colorway that I've chosen for her. It's really pretty. I want to get it finished and get it photographed for the Hello Robin, how are you? But this one, and thank you. I want to get this photographed and sent to Lexi for the Here Comes the Sun Mal, the magical Mal. So these two, this one is done. That one will be done. I have 3 more finished objects for this week. If you saw me on Saturday, you saw this baby right here. This was the basket that I finished. This is my laundry basket. And so you can see that's a week's worth of clothes. So I got my laundry basket, and instead of a handle, I chose to raise one side. So that's how I carry it. And a week's worth of clothes, not all mine, fit in here. My grandbabies share my laundry basket. So that's 2. Whew. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope your day is going well and you're well. I'm getting better, Robin. I am. Life is lifing as it does. But all we can do is step into it and keep going. I told you all that I wanted to make a bag for my scooter. I made my bag. Complete with my 3 pockets on the front. In this pocket goes my cell phone. My keys are here in the middle. Easy access. And then over here, I have my wallet. Now there is a cup of change that I keep. It's going to be going in here, and it'll be the first thing down at the bottom. And I'll just keep my wallet in here so I can grab it. On the inside, I have one separator, and that's so that I can keep my little trash can separated. I do have a fully functional trash can, and it has its own little space. And of course, like my EpiPen, medications, lotions, those types of things are kept in there. I did the cross thing in the front to secure it to the front part of my handle. And then I have 2 in the back to secure it to the back side of the handle. So, yes, I have been working, but that's not all. There's more. As I said, there were four, and you've seen three. I made a matching sort of backpack bag. This goes on the back of my scooter. As you can see, I kept the same colorway. I love my bottom here. I know they look like puffs or popcorns, or no, that's not what I did. What I did was a row of single crochet, and then I went back over that same row of single crochet with the contrasting color. And that's why they look multicolored in there. And this goes around the back of my seat so that I could put 2 or 3 bags of groceries in here when I have a lot to carry. Other than that, it'll be folded up in the other bag. What I started this morning was a simple lap throw. Right now, we're all half double crocheting. And once I get all my colors added, I'll probably add another design element. But for right now, this is where we're going. And it's because I had so much of the yarn left. And I looked at it and I was like, that's enough for another whole throw. And I plan on making it like a wheelchair lapgan so that it can also be used as a throw in case I just need something across my shoulders. So that's where we are there. I'm excited, guys. I am. I am so super excited because I had 12 items on my list and 4 of them are done. I was able to heart and give end dates to 4 of them. And 3 of these items, no, 1, 2, yeah, 3 of these items have not been started. These are just ideas. Yep, so that's 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. 9 of them. Yeah, 9 of them have been started. The empty hearts have been started. And I do have to add one more because this is not on the list. But when I saw how much yarn I had left, I was like, I got a little theme going. I might as well stick with it. So I'm going to go ahead on and do that one and keep myself covered there. But I'm super excited. I get to redo my chart, move it over to next week's, well, this week's, because my week starts on Saturday. My work weeks start on Saturdays. And yeah, I'm excited. I really, really am. Whew. So, speaking of that, and we have now moved from the F portion of our day to the G. The G is simple. It's just to remind you of our other creators. This morning, I got to spend a lovely time with Michelle of Yes Michelle Crochets and her Stitch Circle. And she will be back this evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, for the Yarn Bistro. And it's just to sit and work on your whips or have good conversation, learn a few things, and have fun. And have fun. Whatever kind of art you do, or even if you just want to sit back and relax. On Mondays, she always brings us really, really good, valuable information about where we can shop, things we can do for a 12-week period, the different seasonal things. So keep an eye out for that. And on Tuesdays, is it Tuesdays or Wednesdays? I'm getting confused. But it's either Tuesdays or Wednesdays. She drops the Cozy Encyclopedia. And what she does is take a stitch and she breaks it down completely. She completely annihilates this stitch and she teaches you part by part what the stitch is, how to construct it, how it's best used, everything you need to know about that stitch. What we have coming up is the magic ring. So if you're like me and you have problems with the magic ring, you might want to check it out. Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you. You too put the lap through. And that you said I could use the lap through its extra cushion. That's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do. And that way it's there when I need it. So yeah, I already peeped that idea. Um, oh, and don't forget Lexi and the magical Mal, MAL, make along. Right now the theme is Here Comes the Sun. I submitted my laundry basket because this kind of reminds me of a sunrise after the storm. It's the purple sky, but it's like a sunrise after the storm on a beach, and you just kind of get those beach colors, flavors going on in the blue and the aqua, the little specks of red. Usually there are lights around. I live in a naval area, so there's always ships, all the little extra lights. And then the sun kind of blending in with the sand. And you want to see that blue sky, but coming off of a storm, usually have those purplish clouds. So that was the thing behind that. As far as my baskets are concerned, of course we know yellow is the sun. We know it is. And then those colors just bursting and popping from the sun. The gray, we've been dealing with a lot of overcast lately. So there goes that. And then Caleb's sister's blanket just looks like a hot summer day. It really does. It reminds me of the sunrise on a hot summer day and you're waiting for the amusement park to open. It looks fun. Yeah. So that's that. Some of you may be wondering what happened to the put a ring on it. Yesterday we worked down the whole skein of yarn and we had to put it aside for a while because it is really getting large. It has a lot of stitch markers. I, for one, believe that stitch markers are not our friend. They're not our buddies. They are our first cousins. Mhm. They help so much in counting, marking areas that you need to focus on. Ending, where's the one that, oh yeah, this one right here that ends my work and keeps it from slipping because I do have a long tail and I don't want to pull it and it get gone. So I'm protected by a stitch marker. Stitch markers are absolutely essential and fabulous. What I suggest is I got mine from Amazon. I'm not privy to the link right now. I don't even know if they still have these, but they do have many comparable ones. And all you do is look up heavy duty stitch markers. If you're like me in the beginning, it didn't matter that they were heavy duty or not, but you might get one or two good uses out of them before they pop or break, especially the plastic ones. I like the light bulb ones, but to me, they tend to split my work. I usually use those better when I'm working with cotton. So I do have the light bulb ones as well. If it's something that I'm small that I'm going to be working on frequently, they're the ones that just look like the at symbol where they just keep going around. I will use those as well when I'm working on something small. And I mean smaller than blankets. I guess you all can see that I'm happier now that I found or rekindled my relationship with blankets. So I am producing more. I'm more productive. I'm so happy about that because I love blankets. I absolutely love blankets. And just to remember that this little circle right here was the start. I use a lot of stitch markers, so I make them out. And you do use them because you got to mark where you put the eyes, where to connect the arms and legs, whatever components that you have that you add to it. You have to mark those things. And it does help you keep up with your rows because it's that continual in the round, and if you don't know how to count from the bottom up, or if you want to keep from counting all the way from the bottom up, you'll use stitch markers. When I do venture off into amigurumi, or I'm using stitch markers to mark rows, I use different colors. I will jot down in the notebook which color I'm using for what increment. And, like tens would be like light blue, 20 would be dark blue, so forth and so on. And that way, if it's something that's more than 100 rows, once I get to that 100, I can start back with the 110. I just have to use the light blue because I know I've already made it to 100, so it's just a matter of using the light blue again and going forth from there. So that's an idea for you if you want to use it. Right now, I'm counting by 25s, and I chose to use one color per side. Like that's my purple side, that's my yellow side. Um, I've got my pink side and my blue side. And of course, you have in stitch markers your brown, your yellow, your dark blue, your light purple, your reds. You got all kinds of colors. Also, those who are still interested in the Stitcherhood donation blankets, the channel or the station or the creator that you need to watch is Camille of Camille's Camille blah 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 Camille's Creations. And also we have, let's see if I can reach this one. And I still have not made the twin to it, but I've not been lazy. Y'all can see I've not been lazy, but I've not made the twin to the square for Jackie, the 8-inch square for Jackie. But that is another kitty creation. And I'm going to, she said duplicate them, but I noticed from the ones that were sent in, they were not duplicated. So I'm thinking that leaves the option open to create another square. Because y'all know how much I love creating squares. Just a little something I like to do. But yeah, I'm gonna work on that and I'll get those to her. Um, Going off the cuff here. I think that brings us to our jokes of the day. Y'all, I got 3 jokes for y'all today. And they were like so cute. If any of you are on TikTok and you follow the little aliens, I don't even know what their handle is. I I just sit and I look at their jokes and I fall off the side of the bed and yeah, just waddle all over the bed because they're so funny. So the first joke: what do you call a man with no shins? What do you call a man with no shins? The shin is the front part of your leg. What do you call a man with no shins? Tony. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Ooh. Technically says yes, an amputee, but Tony is so cute. Okay, what do you call a police officer who does the chalk line at a crime scene? What do you call a police officer who does the chalk line at a crime scene? You call him Tracy. Oh Lord. No. Not to get charged. You call him Tracy. Oh my goodness, because you know he has to trace the body. Now this is the last joke. This one you gotta do the at the end because it's that cute. Okay. Whew. Whew. What do you get when you cross a hippo, an elephant, and a rhino? What do you get when you cross a hippo, an elephant, and a rhino? And I don't know if y'all noticed I cut my nails. You're right, BB, a big animal. But what do you call him? A big animal is cute. If you cross a hippo, an elephant, and a rhino, I know. Oh my goodness. That one I slid off the bed. I did. I don't know if you've seen these characters. It's a group of little aliens. And they just sit around with these crazy little dad jokes. But when he said that one last night, I had to listen to it like 10 times. And every time he said it, I was weak. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Okay, so whew, yesterday I got a bit of happy mail. I did, and I was super, super, super excited to get it. That's the only thing I'm gonna have to get used to. That's almost like styrofoam scraping each other. I might have to keep these two items separate, or or I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. But I got the yarn spinners. It's two of them. Compliments Lori of Lori's Stories and Crochet. And if you ever want to hear a cute little story, you gotta go check Lori out. You really do. But I just thought this was the cutest. I had to do that slowly because that. And I actually made, I think I threw it away. No, no, no. I think I accidentally threw it away. But one of our fellow crocheters reached out for help. They wanted to know how to do the shells into a triangle. And being that I don't get notified for everybody that I've turned on the notification bell for, I did not get a notification that she had put something in her community post. So when I popped in her live yesterday and she said it again, what she needed, I put everything I had down and I started working on it because I was going to help her turn that shell stitch into a triangle. And I worked with it and worked with it until I got it. And I finally was able to make her a video and send it to her. But I wanted to show you the little shell, but I think I threw it away. I think I threw it away. Yeah, I don't even see it. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't throw it away. The whole while I was in her live, I was working on this. I was like, oh no, we're gonna get this right. We're gonna fix this. She gonna be able to do this. So this was what we did for her. And I did it yesterday. But I just said all of that to say, that when we need help, and she did the right thing in reaching out, and she also did the right thing in saying it again in case other people don't see it. That's how I see our community. I see us helping each other. I see us, reaching out and saying, hey, I need help with this. And somebody who is willing to take that time and say, okay, we'll try this, or okay, I do it this way. You might want to see if that works. Another tip that I got was with the corner to corner, instead of leaving that three chain space on the side as you're decreasing, just kind of dangling out there, slip stitch it into the side before. Makes it a lot neater. And I'm like, game changer. Hi, Vivian, I missed you. I'm sorry. How are you? Yes, and I was so happy to get that little tidbit of information. It truly helped. Have a great. Y'all know I share with y'all. Okay. Now we're at the L. This is the port. This is the. I'm saying portion and part at the same time. This is the part where I ask you for a slice of lime. I think last week I asked for a slice of lemon. So this time I'm going to make it your choice. Either give me an emoji of a slice of lemon or a slice of lime, or a lime or a lemon. It doesn't matter. Or both if you want. It doesn't matter. And then I showed you what I'm working on, what I will probably be working on the rest of the day. The Stitcherhood 2 blanket that I said was finished. I actually found some more chunky yarn that I want to add to that and make it even bigger. So sometime during the course of this week, I will be adding those. I think it's three balls that I found. I'll be adding those. My favorite animal. Thank you for the lineman. And that's funny because my favorite animal is a ligger. Lion father, tiger mother, the ligger or the liger. That's my favorite. That they are absolutely huge. Dragonflies are cute. They are, but my favorite animal is the liger. Liger. hmm it has to be in the cat family. I call myself Mama Cougar. or Kitty Lane. And my poetry name is Sexy Kitty. And when people hear, I want to say this too. When people hear the word sexy, a lot of people get offended. Um, and I apologize if they do, but I personally see sexy as an attitude. I don't see it as being provocative. I think everybody in the world should, along with loving yourself, should feel sexy, meaning appealing, happy, good about yourself, just feeling like you're pretty, you're beautiful, you shine. That's my interpretation. So when I reference that, that's what I mean. And am I sexy kitty? Of course I am. Of course I am. I'm quirky. I'm nerdy. I'm smart. I'm crazy. And when I'm wrong, I don't mind admitting it. A little straightforward. Um, I'm an extroverted introvert. I like being in people's spaces, but in my own little private sector. There's a place that we do our spoken word poetry. It's called the Venue. And I usually try to get there early because there's one little table when you go in, it's all the way over to the left. It's right in front of the stage, but up against the wall. So when the lights are showing on the people on the stage, those people closest to the bright light tend to be hidden. And unless you're already in there when the lights go out and come up, you really don't see me. But I can see everybody else. I can see everything else in there. And when I go to enjoy the other poets. I also like to sit there because with me having my mobility issues, sometimes it's hard for me to get up on stage. And even though the host always helps me, my dear brother George, he always helps me. And it's just a little closer commute to the stage. Thank you, sis. I got a plaque that tells me that. You see, my sister said to me, "You're loved." Absolutely. Okay, the other thing, Tuesday, um, Tuesday marked the 7th anniversary of my mother passing. And Tuesday was very difficult for me. This has been a difficult week because in 2019, the 16th was on Father's Day. And my mom and I used to really, really, really celebrate Father's Day um, because she was my only parent. And I think one of the sweetest things my oldest daughter did for me um, she knows that I love puzzles. She knows that I love jigsaw puzzles. So that's what my oldest daughter did for me. Have I put it together? At least 1,000 times. That's me and my mama. And that sweater she has on, I made it for her. She was a diehard Redskin fan. And I made her that sweater. Yep, that is me and my mama. A little bit later. Okay. I do not have a quote today. No, let's not skip all the way to the end where I tell you love yourself because self love is the greatest love of all. I have had to reiterate that so many times this week. And it's so funny because I don't get out like a lot of people do, but every time I've been out, I've had to tell someone that just so they would know, hey, you are beautiful. And that's something I want you all to do this week. And when we come back next week, please let me know that you've done it, that you've looked in the mirror at least once every day. And you say to that image staring back at you, you are beautiful. I love you. Please do that for me. And I want you to keep doing it, not only till you believe it, but until you know it. Okay? When I say to you, you can't give others the love they deserve unless you first love yourself the way you deserve. There are many out here, I did it for years, that will give love, give love, give love, give love. And they're giving all the love they think they have. And you really think that you're giving the best love that you can give and giving all the love you think you have. But there were a lot of those times that I did not love me because the best I could have done for me in each one of those situations that I remember right now would have been to have walked away from those situations instead of wasting their time and my time too. And sometimes that's what it's all about. Sometimes in loving yourself, you have to, when you see a situation about to arise that's not a good situation, sometimes you have to, because you love yourself and you know what the outcome is going to be, sometimes you have to exercise patience. There might be that little thing on the inside of you that says, fight back, fight back, fight back, fight back. But because you love yourself and you don't want to endure or deal with the fallout from the fight back, you exercise patience. That's how you are not only loving that person and letting them have that moment, you're loving yourself because you're saving yourself from something that you really stress that you really don't even need to handle. And I am still tough love does not come easy to everyone. Tough love from a person like me is probably one of the hardest things. I'll think it in my mind and we'll come up with all kinds of solutions. And then when you're standing right here, and then when you're standing, maybe I had to laugh at your comment. How well do I know? But when you come and you stand right here in front of me, my heart just turns to mush. And okay, but don't do it again. It's like when my kids were younger and they wanted to go outside and they did something like there was this old mattress. There was a field behind our houses, and the kids used to go play in that field. All the parents could look out their back door and see their kids. So when this mattress went out there, and normally there were like always mattresses out there, but there was something about this mattress that didn't set right with several of us parents. And every time one of us would drag it to the trash pile for the garbage man to come get it, it would always end up back in the field. We would always tell the kids to stay off of it. I told my kids to stay off of it. And I looked out one day and my son was doing flips on it. And I went out there and I snatched him up by the back of his collar. We could do that back then. And I marched him in the house. And I made him sit on the sofa until I got ready for him to move. No TV, no light. When it was time for dinner, you get up, you eat dinner, you decide you don't want to eat. Fine. Wrap your plate up, put it in the refrigerator. You'll see it for breakfast. Go sit back on the couch. You can't play with toys. You can't have a conversation with anybody in the house. None of that. That was the softer side because the bigger side of me, back in the day, old school mama, tear that hand parts up. I told you. Y'all don't know how many times my kids have had to have spankings, and I don't know who cried harder, me or them. but I learned not to say. And I think I said it for a little while. And I realized because I always left the communication line open for my kids because I didn't have that with my mom. And don't think I'm down on my mom. My mom was the best mom she knew how to be. My mom exposed me to things that some kids dream of. Nowadays it's probably the norm. But back in the 60s and 70s, we took road trips to Connecticut. I flew on a plane for the first time because she knew the pilot. I got on my first ship because she was dating a sailor and got to walk half the ship. I couldn't walk that whole ship. That was like walking three cities. It was an aircraft carrier too. It was huge. It was huge. They got stores up there, restaurants. They got all kinds of stuff up there. Ooh, yo. But because I didn't have, my mother was more of a answer my questions. Don't elaborate, just answer the question. And because we didn't have that line of communication, I always left it open for my kids. So my kids came to me one day and they said, Mom, we understand what you mean when you say this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, but put yourself in our position. You're not hurting like we hurting right now. So I stopped saying that, as a result. Um, but then it just made me softer. I don't know, for some reason to put it out there verbally so they would know I don't really want to do this, but I feel like I have to so that you'll understand, so that you'll learn, and then to be told you really don't have to say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But but like I said, we went to New York, lots of places up north. We went down south, of course. Um, we went to our that was cute. We went to Arkansas and turned around and came back. So yeah, I did get exposed to a lot of things, and like I said, for kids nowadays, it's the norm for a lot of them. It's to you talk to a lot of kids and ask them about airplanes, and they're like, "Yeah, we took flight such and such place." My first flight, we went to Washington D.C. and turned around and came back, and I slept all the way back. We were more than rough. We were more than rough. I listened to the Gen Xers when they talk about the fact that when we went outside, we had to stay outside and we had to drink from the water hose and we had to do this and we had to do that. Let me tell you about the baby boomers when we grew up, what we had to do. You talk about the water hose, that was luxury. that that was luxury. We had to go to the pump and pour that little cup of water down in the hole and prime that pump just so we could pump the water up. Yeah, just so we could pump the water up and hadn't have a hose, and going to risk knocking on the door to ask to use the bathroom. If you don't go out there in the woods or find somebody's outhouse, y'all, the outhouses. How many of y'all had the outhouse experience? How many of you know about? And I mean, we can be honest here. The sanitation just was not really there then. You went to the outhouse and you sat on these cement blocks, and the real fancy ones. When they started doing the indoor plumbing, If they didn't have indoor plumbing, you would go get the toilet seat and attach it so that you didn't have to sit on cement blocks. And let's talk about our choice of toilet paper: newspaper, magazine, corn cobs. I'm just saying, y'all, we can go down that memory lane all day, all day. Whew. We're so happy we are where we are now. I am so grateful. I look at the fact that a couple of months ago, I told my daughter, I was like, I don't want to use, at first, and it amazes me when things first come out and you look at them, you're like, "Psh, waste of money, waste of money. There's nothing wrong with doing it the way that I'm doing it now. Thought that forever. Give me my wipes, give me my scrubbing bubbles, give me, you are so right, leaves. I tell my older he's because we're growing up Dominican Republic. Oh, and I had to go, yes, yes, absolutely, BB, absolutely. I'm not from the Dominican Republic, even though one of my best friends is. I call her my Dominican Thunder. She's a poet also. Um, but there were when I went to my great grandmother's house down in Selma, North Carolina, they had a fishing hole down there. And we had to go down there and fish if we wanted fresh fish for dinner because the seafood market wasn't the best. You know, they just didn't. It was an outdoor market. There were flies everywhere. If you know the probably one of the most dangerous meats to eat, and I still don't understand people that eat sushi, but to eat raw or unclean is seafood. So my Maddie was like, you go down to the fishing hole, you get your fish and you put them in this bucket. Make sure you put the lid on the bucket. Little kids, we always thought every time we got something, you had to poke holes in it. And she was like, if you poke holes in it, flies are gonna get in it. Catch the fish, put it in the bucket, bring the bucket home. Well, we always had the stick that you carried on your neck. They had the two buckets on the end because you had to have the water in the bucket to maintain the fish because you don't want them to dry out. The watering hole or the fishing hole was not next door. It wasn't just across. It wasn't just across the track or the next block. It was like a half mile to three quarters of a mile down the road. That was, I mean, today you hop in your car and do that in less than a minute. Little kids, it seemed like a long way. As we got older, it didn't seem as far away. Well, when the hole started drying up from the houseway down into the big river, of course, we had to walk a little bit further whenever we went down. And no, I don't do sushi. Have I tried it? Yes. That's something else. But anyway, we go down to the fishing hole. And like I said, we had those long boards that we had to carry so that we could carry the two buckets. Because you can't carry them like this all the way back home. You got to you got to anchor down. Now, if you hear me when it comes to food saying I don't like something, that means I've tried it and I genuinely don't like it. Now, if you hear me say I don't need it, don't want it, blah, 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 blah. Never tried it, and I don't want to. I I have tried asparagus. I don't like it. It tastes like the inside of cans, old cans, old been on the shelf for 10 years cans. And I've tried it cooked a few ways. Um, as much as I used to love up to a few years ago, Brussels sprouts. I do not like Brussels sprouts. They have to be cooked a certain way. They cannot be overcooked. They cannot be undercooked. But here lately, I can't stomach or tolerate a Brussels sprout. Mushrooms, tricky. I love mushroom flavor, but I do not like the meat of mushroom. The texture in my mouth is yucky. Same way with strawberries. Same way with pineapples. Same way with peaches, nectarines. I just, I love the fruit flavor, but I don't like the texture in my mouth. Um, Avocados, miss me with that. Have I tried it? Like I said, I've tried it. I don't like it. I, I don't like it. There are many more things on that list that I, don't like. And some of it, for a long time, I didn't eat peanut butter and jelly. I would eat peanut butter or I would eat jelly, but I wouldn't eat the two together because for a long time, my mom and I were struggling. All we had were peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was sick of peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't want to see, hear it, none of that. None of that. So, sometimes I have an issue with Kool-Aid. I'll put it like this. I haven't been good all my life. But at one point, I was accused of being bad, and I wasn't the bad one. And I had to pay the penalty for someone else. And as a result, when I got home, I didn't want to see nothing orange. I didn't want any bread. I didn't want any Kool-Aid. I didn't want any kind of potatoes. And I love potatoes. I love potatoes. I had to reacquaint myself with potatoes, but I absolutely love potatoes. I don't think there's any way you can give me a potato that I don't want unless it's covered in mushrooms or avocado. Other than that, I love potatoes. I mean, I love potatoes. Absolutely. Let's go on to the R's, please. R's is remind you. I want to keep you reminded. Spend your 30 minutes a day in organization, daily journaling to stave off the frustration. Okay? 30 minutes a day of organization, daily journaling to stave off frustration. Can we do that? Don't forget what I told you, please. Look in that mirror every day. And these two sentences, I want you to stay. I want you to say these two sentences to yourself every day. BB, I have something to say to you, please. Please stick around for a moment. But the two statements are it's I am beautiful and I love you. Or to that image, you are beautiful and I love you. Please say those two things to yourself every day. Every day. I'm going to check with you next Saturday to make sure you have. Before we leave, I believe in giving flowers while people are still here. And there are two people, three people actually, that I really want to give flowers to. And you saw the plaque, the You I Love plaque. That comes from my dear sister Joan. Um, that's where we're going to leave that right now. But yes, I know that I am loved. I know. The other part of that is that I have to say that y'all, lots of times, the reason that I'm here and on time or as close to it as possible is Joan. Joan makes sure I'm up. She makes sure I'm level headed. If I don't need to be doing what I think I'm going to do that day, she lets me know it. So she holds me accountable and she keeps me straight. And I love you and I appreciate you for that, sis. I also wanted to thank, and I didn't see Lori in here, but if you see her, which I'll probably text her later anyway, Lori has been so much of a help to me. She has recognized that there were certain problems and she'll reach out and tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, along with Lori is Yes Michelle Crochets. Those two ladies right there help to keep me in line. They let me know, hey, we watch you, we see you. The other person is BB. A lot of the beautiful things that you all see that I have been making lately, I have to put my arms around BB and say, BB, if it weren't for you, all this beauty could not be happening. It would not be happening. I mean, yes, you, Lori, and Deb, but the biggest part of it goes to you when I sit here and I put my hands on these things, wrap myself around them, and am able to gift them off to other people. It makes me feel good that someone thinks enough of me and my talent to source me to be able to do these things. And I love you for that. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Everyone have a great weekend. I'm sending love and blessings. Thank you so much, Robin. We love you too. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. And if not Tuesday and Thursday at 12, don't forget to catch Friday morning, Flex Friday, and again on Saturday at 1:30. I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. I love you guys. Please don't forget to exercise self-love because self-love is the greatest love of all. And you can't love others the way they deserve to be loved unless you first love yourself the way you deserve to be loved. And you deserve the best. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.